Hi, I'm Kelly Kay. We're here at AudioDays 2014, and I'm from Josephson Engineering, and we brought a number of our models of microphones here to show today. To start off with, here's our C617 set. It's a body designed and built by ourselves in our factory in California, with a capsule that's actually made by Microtech Gefell in Gefell, Germany. This is kind of a special marriage of parts. You don't really see too many mics that have components from two different companies. But in order to make this work, we actually have to have this body take normal 48-volt Phantom and step that up to 200 volts inside. So no special external power supply. You can use any regular, proper 48-volt Phantom, and that will generate 200 volts, which is one of the main standards for half-inch or 12-millimeter measurement capsules. And this
DC converter.
Yeah, DC to DC converter, exactly. And this Gefell measurement capsule, even though there are other companies that make them, is quite special in that it has a grown or deposited diaphragm on it. So they use special metallurgical techniques to take a metal cylinder and grow the diaphragm across it, so it has no uneven stresses in it. Most microphone companies that make a little Omni capsule like this with a metal diaphragm take a nickel sheet, stretch it, and micro weld it on, but you might have tensions that are a little bit different in each direction. But by growing it, no, there's zero tension, and all you do is tighten it to do the tuning. A very neutral mic, not a mic for character. Whatever you hear in the hall, good sounds, bad sounds, it's all going to be there. So, but if you have a good sounding room, a good sound source, and make a good placement, this is about the best you can get.
I agree. I used to own them, so yeah.
You have to get another pair now.
I will. You know.
So now, after that, we have one of our top sellers here. This is our most affordable mic. It's our C42 in black like this. It's actually part of a matched pair. We actually
Are the silver ones still available?
The silver ones, here's a silver one over here, and the silver ones are actually kind of unique because it's not a finish. The body is actually made out of a solid piece of stainless steel. But when you buy them in pairs, we actually sell them in matched pairs in a case like this. And it's your basic all-around single small diaphragm condenser mic. Solid state output, good for drum overheads, stringed instruments, typical applications for a small diaphragm condenser. After that, we have our 700A up here. This is a large dual diaphragm figure 8 and a small single diaphragm Omni. And the beauty of this is it actually outputs both channels. So you track both channels, and once you're done with your session at your own leisure, when you're doing your mix, you actually blend the two channels together and get any polar pattern after the fact.
Any polar pattern, everything in between, right?
Everything in between. So if you take
that's the most important.
If you take the Omni and the figure 8 and mix them 50-50, you get a cardioid. If you mix them, mostly Omni and a little bit figure 8, you get a subcardioid. If you mix them mostly figure 8 and a little bit of Omni, you get some form of hypercardioid. And depending on how you mix them, you can get any polar pattern in between, not just those common polar patterns that you expect. So you have full control. It's not necessarily so that you would want a exact cardioid or an exact subcard or an exact hypercardioid. Here you can pick anything that just works perfectly for you, and not just for the polar pattern, but also if say you're using this one for the main application, you use it for a along with the change in polar pattern, you have a change in proximity effect.
Yes,
So
I was
if you
thinking about
want
that.
less proximity effect, if you're in a vocal booth, you can have more omni. If you want more proximity effect because you're trying to bring up the low end, maybe you're trying to do voiceovers and get some of the low kind of sounds to your voice, or kind of a weak female voice that you want to make fuller, then you could have a more directional pattern. But so sometimes you hear folks pick a vocal mic in isolation of the rest of the mix, and they'll sometimes accidentally pick a microphone that has a very big, larger-than-life sound, which can be attractive sometimes. But then they go and do the mix, and the mix maybe sounds normal, where everything is further back here sounding, and then they go to put the vocals in, and the vocals sound right in your face, and you might think, well, turn the levels down. No, if you turn the levels down, you just get quiet and in your face. It doesn't push the sound back into the mix. But with this mic, you can actually adjust things and make sure you can always drop the vocals into the mix. So, and at the moment, we have a couple other microphones. We have a C716 over in our neighbor's booth, and a stereo version of this, which adds a side capsule, as well as a microphone with a single diaphragm, a single large diaphragm, which can do omni or figure 8, but they're not in the booth right now. So,
Will the modular series be reissued again? The C600 series.
It's on our laundry list, but it's like number 72 or something. I'm not sure. We usually typically focus on what the next product is. If we're really lucky and we have the ability to look even further forward, we might be able to start considering about the thing after the next product, but we rarely have a chance to think too far in the future, so who knows what the future holds. But at the moment, it's not that's coming out next, and I'm not at leisure to say what is. So.
Okay.
But we do have something we hope to have out in the fall.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kelly.